Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Nicolas Cage is going to be starring in a live-action Spider-Man Noir series. Can't wait for this, actually. I really like Nicolas Cage. I think he's actually a good actor, believe it or not. Loads of people now, I guess, kind of only recognise him as being a bit silly and a bit slapstick, sort of just a bit wacky and zany. But he is genuinely, can be anyway, a very good actor. So I'm really looking forward to this. We've got some more updates on this. There's been an episode count revealed. Apparently there'll be monsters are going to be involved in this. It's interesting. It's coming together. For those that don't know, quick recap. Spider-Man Noir. Obviously, Nicolas Cage did the voice of Spider-Man Noir in the animated Spider-Man movies. Now they've confirmed that they want to do a limited series, a mini-series based on Spider-Man Noir. It will be live action. And I think this is interesting, quite frankly. So there you go. Shall we take a look? Hit subscribe if you're new here. Turn the bell notifications on. But let's go. So here's this report here. Spider-Man Noir, Nicolas Cage reveals episode count and confirms monsters are involved. So, yeah, interesting. So we recently learned that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse star Nicolas Cage will reprise his role in Noir, a Prime Video series telling the story of an aging and down-on-his-luck private investigator in 1930s New York who is forced to grapple with his past life as the city's only superhero. Quite an interesting plot, I think, or synopsis anyway. So now Cage has broken his silence on the project in a recent interview with The New Yorker, which is, I've taken a look at the interview itself. It's best to just take the highlights from here. After being asked about his Hollywood influences. So he says, and quote, "Well, the fantasy would be that I could try to aspire to be something more golden age. You know, something more like James Cagney or Humphrey Bogart or Hedy Lamarr or Bette Davis. I wanted to have that kind of aura, you know, like the more enigmatic. You don't know too much. We'll see what happens if I do this Amazon show." Interestingly, he says if. Thought that was confirmed. Alright. And they put me in black and white. We'll see if we can get some of that flavour. Maybe he's saying, we'll see if I do this Amazon show, as in if they put me in black and white. I think that's because this is apparently confirmed. So, interesting. So, he was asked about his first proper foray into television. And he says, "I saw Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad stare at a suitcase for half the episode. I thought, we don't have time to do that in movies." This is amazing. Of all the things you'd pick up from Breaking Bad, Nicolas Cage is the one that picks up on Bryan Cranston staring at a suitcase. This is peak Nicolas Cage. What do you want to do, Nick? I want to stare at a suitcase for an hour. Like, this is peak Nicolas Cage, for goodness sake. So funny. And he says, we don't have time to do that in movies. So that to me seemed like an opportunity to open it up a little. I don't know if the project Noir that I'm exploring has room for that. I think this is a much more sort of popcorn entertainment episodic. Shame. I don't want to watch Nicolas Cage stare at a suitcase for half an hour, I'm not going to lie. But do I want to see Nicolas Cage be a little bit more, I guess, auteur? Yeah, I'd be keen for that. Popcorn entertainment episodic is not my idea of why you get Nicolas Cage in to do stuff. Even his good stuff, you just don't. But never mind. So he'd go on to say that the live-action Spider-Man TV series consists of 8 episodes and described it as more of a pop art mashup, like a Liechtenstein painting with some sparkle to it. However, despite playing this unique Spider-Man variant, Cage was quick to make it clear, quote, "I don't like violence." What? You've started some incredibly violent shows. What are you talking about? And movies. Well, movies. What are you talking about? What? "I don't want to play people who are hurting people." I guess you don't mind if you get hurt. Mate, Con Air, you hurt people. What are you doing? "One of the things that I like about this potential show is that it's fantasy. It's not really people beating people up. Monsters are involved." Right, okay. What a weird way to say stuff. Anyway, the mention of monsters lines up with what we've heard from various scoopers about the series, and it sounds like Cage is bracing himself to see some action as the web slinger, because he confirmed, quote, "I have to slip out after this to go get a scan done for the show, and then also for the movie I'm doing after the show. 2 scans in 1 day." Huh. Interesting. Now, this article says, given Sony's apparent inability to make good live-action Marvel movies without Kevin Feige's assistance, it's going to be interesting to see how Noir comes together. Oren Uziel and Steve Lightfoot are co-showrunners and developed the series with Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and Amy Pascal. Amy Pascal is the worst. Who will executive produce the series? Noir doesn't have a confirmed premiere date. Interesting. Popcorn entertainment, episodic, is not massively my idea of a good time when it comes to Spider-Man and Nicolas Cage. I struggle to see why you would get Nicolas Cage if you're going to treat it like any other sort of episodic type series. Although, having said that, is it potentially a good idea that you're, getting Nicolas Cage to be sort of popcorny and rather than zany for most people? Probably. I don't want him to be zany, mind you. Auteur, yeah, potentially. Because I think he could be really, really decent. But interesting. Monsters involved. Good. The fact that he doesn't want to beat people up. Why are you playing a superhero then? They beat people up. And he's started lots of violent things, but I guess a lot of them, people have been violent to him. But he has started a lot of violent things. So I find that to be a really interesting sort of line of dialogue there. But never mind, look, it is what it is. What do you guys think? Spider-Man Noir with Nicolas Cage, I think that's great. I can't wait for it. Monsters being involved, I think that's great. It is what it is. What else do you say? Could be in for some good stuff, but I am still getting very, very much sick to death of movies and TV shows with superheroes, though. Although there is something comical about this, so they put it in black and white. That will be interesting. That'll be really interesting to see. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.